Hey everybody, Rob from the Rockford Report here. Want to let you know we're doing something a little bit different today. We're bringing in Ian. He's got a segment called The Pickup Artist. I'm going to let him explain it once we get in there, but hey, we're going to see how it goes. Stay tuned. Hi, everybody. Welcome to the Rockford Report Special Edition. We're here with Ian Shafer on his new segment, The Pickup Artist. Ian, why don't you tell everybody what The Pickup Artist is all about?
Yeah, so the Pickup Artist is all about waivers and free agency. There's a couple parts to every fantasy season. You have the draft, and people focus a ton on that. But leagues are won and lost in waivers and free agency, and so we're going to spend some time kind of looking at the moves that people make, evaluating them, and just seeing kind of how folks are doing in that area of the CFL.
It's a really cool concept because what Ian's put together here, he's got different categories, and they're clever and they're fun. And I think this will be a nice, probably weekly, if we can do it, a little quick episode where we can go through this and have some fun with it. And I also, the rest of the SKFL, if you got a good idea, let's do it also. You can do it with me, you can do it on your own, but feel free to run wild. If you've got a great idea, shoot it over to me, or you know what, you can just record something on your own and shoot it over to me and I can put it up also. So don't feel like you guys are hamstrung. You just have to work through me. This is our thing, not my thing. So feel free to put something together. So Ian, I'm going to jump into these categories really quick just because they're so fun. The first one, the spot start of the week.
All right. So also to SKFL, if you guys have some suggestions for the names of these, so spot start of the week is a player who has not yet been started this season, and they get their first start. So typically they will be someone who's been picked up. This week there actually wasn't a ton. Sammy Watkins was really the only guy who I could find who had his first start and contributed even anything. So I think he was the only guy over 10 points. But kind of sad, in Sammy Watkins style, he's now out for, I don't know, a few weeks. So that's how Sammy does, right? All the Sammy, I think I have been a major Sammy owner in the past, and I think Eustace been there and a few other guys. And so we know how this goes. Sammy will put up big games, but then he will go away. And when he comes back, be sure not to start him because he will definitely get hurt again, or he just won't catch any balls. So Jeff, be warned, don't start him again.
That's why he was on the bench the whole time. Okay, the next category, that was cool. The next category, and you can explain it if you'd like, is the spot GOAT of the week. Not the greatest of all time either.
Yeah. It's not capitalized. It's the lowercase GOAT. So this is kind of this is why I love fantasy football, right? Because you can spend 2 hours combing the free agent boards looking for that what the heck flex. Like, you got to throw somebody in, your guy got hurt or something. You need to pick up somebody to get a few points. And games are won and lost on this. We have games that are always, within 10 points. If you can start the right guy, that's huge. This happens a lot with defenses, but I'm not including defenses in this category because it's a little bit too easy. Kind of this last week, there were a few brutal starts. We can start with Olamide Zacchaeus. Casey, he put up 3 points. Not a bad idea. I mean, Julio's out. Calvin Ridley actually I don't think he started off too strong. The previous game, Calvin Ridley was hurt or something. So there was a lot of question about what was going to happen. Hayden Hurst hasn't done much. And who are they? I forget who Atlanta was playing.
Green Bay.
Green Bay, yeah. So,
wait, was that potential 2 weeks ago?
Might have been. It's Atlanta, though.
They were
so
Carolina.
They're always
Carolina.
Oh, yeah, that's right. because Dan Quinn got fired after he lost to Carolina.
Sorry, Dan.
You know, it's Atlanta, so it's always going to be a shootout. So not a bad idea, but didn't pan out.
No, yeah.
Next, Mo Alley Cox. He's actually, I mean, he's been on my radar for 4 years or so now. He's an old, he's a basketball player. Didn't play, like barely played high school football, didn't play college. Finally got his shot, and he was looking like the real deal for a couple weeks. You know, Phillip Rivers, who can barely throw the ball 5 yards, you know, was targeting him all over the place. He was scoring touchdowns, but it looks like Indianapolis likes Trey Burton for some reason. I do not understand that. But tough luck, AJ. It's kind of, you know, AJ kind of asked for this and not drafting a tight end, so he will be kind of trolling the boards for spot starters there. Scotty Miller put up. Poor Blake had 2 guys on the list. Scotty Miller, again, not bad.
Got Fant too.
What's that?
He's got Fant too. Is he out?
Oh yeah, that's right in that trade. And we'll get back with the Dak news. We'll touch base on that too later.
Okay, all right.
So Scotty Miller put up a 0 for Blake. You know, that's going to happen. Not a bad look. Tom Brady loves targeting the fast white guy. And then he went with Traquan Smith as well, who worked out well for RDR 2 weeks ago. 2 touchdowns, 3 or 4 catches. So he came through big time there. Would have been a spot start of the week had we done this segment last week. But, you know, I think with Jared Cook back and I guess, you know, can Drew Brees throw anymore? Like, I'm not really sure. So it's kind of a tough ask. Yeah, so those were the spot goats of the weeks.
So we had 4 of those. Your next award, you don't have anybody this week, but you have the Carlos Rodriguez I Love Kickers Award. Why don't you tell us what that's going to be each week?
So this is the award for anybody who drops a good player for a kicker. Everyone, the SKFL knows how I feel about kickers. They're kind of a waste of time. And so I'm always looking at the free agents. And if you're going to drop anybody for a kicker, it needs to be someone you don't want to roster. So I named this after Los because he dropped Nyheim Hines in week 1, who had a pretty big week, was then subsequently wavered and then dropped again, and will soon be dropped again by RDR. But you know, we like to talk shit here. So there was nothing. I didn't see anything this week. Looks like SKFL is getting a little smarter about this. So congratulations, but we'll be watching.
Okay, we'll be watching. Ian's got his monocle out. He's going to be looking for bad drops for kickers. All right, the next category is the Damian Williams waiver claim of the week. Tell us about this and who your award winner is this week. I think it's a pretty obvious one this week.
Yeah, I mean, it's easy this week. This week, you know, revolves around Dak Prescott and what happened. I mean, that was kind of a brutal injury. I was watching it live, and man, I thought his shoe had fallen off and was just sideways.
That's what I thought at first too. Looked like his shoe kind of came off. I'm like, oh, he's fine. Just put it back on, bud.
And he had like a little a calf cramp, but no, his leg was just like sideways. So that was not good. Anyway, so yeah, that makes this waiver. It was a no-brainer. Andy Dalton should be able to, you know, he'll be a viable starter for the rest of the year in SKFL. So this was kind of a slam dunk. It would have been the Chase Claypool week had Los not gone and picked him up already. So congrats, Los. I got to say that's a baller move to already have him on your bench. I wasn't going to be looking at Claypool this year. I mean, with all the talent already in Pittsburgh with Juju, Deontay, and Nate Washington. Yeah, Washington there. Like there's a lot of talent there. So I'm surprised he was already rostered, and I'm curious to see how it goes for the rest of the year for Claypool. If Deontay can come back, you know, we'll see how they split the snaps.
I'm not going to give Los too much credit just because it's a Steeler guy. He rosters a couple random Steeler guys, and I think he just lucked out here.
Okay, that's a good point, actually. Let's not give Los too much credit.
The next one, the Miles Austin free agent acquisition of the week. Now, it's only Wednesday, so we haven't had much time to acquire free agents.
Yeah.
Tell us about this one, Ian.
Yeah, so this is just the free agent acquisitions, and we'll probably be doing the show on Wednesdays. So we'll talk about the Tuesday night free agent pickups. But because of COVID, because we're in unprecedented times, we have not had a pickup this week, and so we'll cover that next week.
Okay. Next one, the Raw Dog No Kicker Award. Who are our award winners this week?
Yes.
Raw Dog.
These are people who like to live dangerously, and yes, the No Condom Raw Dog Kicker Award. Wade and Musa, congrats. You understand that you don't always have to start a kicker, and so for that, I salute you, and we'll be watching out for fellow Raw Doggers as the season goes on.
I was a 3-week Raw Dogger, and then the last 2 weeks I've had a kicker, so I'm kind of in and out of that pool.
I mean, I go back and forth on it. Like for years, I think most of the year I wouldn't start a kicker. But the one thing that gets me is that with the point totals for the season, that's where it can come back and bite you.
70, 80, 90 points maybe.
Yeah. So when you're tied in the record and that can bite you. So be careful, but don't be too careful.
Don't drop somebody good for a kicker, I think is what Ian's trying to tell you. If you got some slop on the bench, go for it. The last category before Ian kind of runs through some kind of random stuff, which I like, is the Michael Vick Pickup of the Year tracker. And he's got a bunch of names. You got 8 people on the tracker right now, Ian.
Yeah. So actually, I made this list before this last Sunday. And so there's a couple names on here, mainly Jerick McKinnon, who is probably off of this list now. I mean, Jerick McKinnon he was pretty good. He was putting up 20s and 30s. But, with Raheem Mostert back, McKinnon got, I think 14 snaps. It was pretty bad. Mostert kind of took that role back over. So he's probably off this list. I'll go from kind of the bottom to the top. These are kind of in order. So Dalton Schultz is there for Randy. I kind of like Dalton Schultz, although with the Dak injury now, who knows what's going to happen to that Cowboys offense. Dalton Schultz was big because you really just wanted a piece of the Cowboys offense. So I thought that was a smart pickup. Mike Davis, obviously, he's been huge. I'm hesitant to say this, but I don't know how much the Panthers actually miss Christian McCaffrey. We'll see. I mean, obviously he'll get his role back, but Mike Davis is legit. I loved him last year in Chicago and I think he was on my roster at the beginning of the year, but unfortunately, what's that?
He's a good back. He was good in Seattle.
He's great. I mean, I remember when he came out of South Carolina to the Niners. Like I was following him then. When he came to Seattle is when I was really impressed with him. Like
Casey and I were talking earlier on the pod that's going to air tomorrow about the 2-word phrase we could see in Carolina when McCaffrey comes back, which is load management. I mean, McCaffrey's not going to be getting all these carries and catches if you've got a confident guy back there. Do you think?
Honestly, I'm hoping that they hold McCaffrey out 1 or 2 more weeks. Don't rush this. Like, let the guy get totally healthy. I don't want a Saquon or Kamara situation here, right? So hopefully this will be a good thing for McCaffrey. But
downtime.
Yeah, we'll see. Darrell Henderson next. Casey and I talked about this, and the fact that he was dropped and could have been picked up is just that's a brutal realization for 11 other SKFL owners here. Huge week this last week. He disappointed 2 weeks ago he blew up when he shouldn't have, and then he disappointed when everyone was on to him. But I think he's carving out a role there, and he's going to be good for the rest of the season, I think. Myles Gaskin, another guy. I was after last year's debacle in the Miami backfield. Who was it? Patrick Laird. Gaskin got a shot but didn't do anything.
Laird was ahead of him last year for sure.
Yeah. So, and then, this year starting off with Jordan Howard back there and Matt Breida, it was, really unclear. I didn't want to touch that backfield, but Gaskin looks like he's kind of taken over. Jordan Howard was a healthy scratch. Mm-hmm. So it looks like he has a 3-down role carved out there. Next, Indianapolis. They had a down game this week, but putting up 250s in a row and trying to hide an aging quarterback and get establish the run here. They'll be a solid D for the rest of the year. And then a person near and dear to your heart, Rob, James Robinson. He's just been solid.
Yeah.
He's a high-end running back too, and you can plug him in each week. He's getting targets. They trust him in any situation, so he's solid.
He'll be in that 15 to 30 range probably every week. He'll probably never have a 50, but he probably won't have a lot of duds either.
How does it feel getting a legit running back early in the year on the waiver wire? That's huge.
I mean, for my team, it's been monstrous. I mean, all my backs have done pretty good. So, I mean, if I didn't get him, I would be okay. But it's just a nice insurance policy to have him with the other three guys that I have, because that's such a position that's open to flux. Injuries, week to week, you just can't count on it. So depth is good there. He gives me that. And I've been able to start him the last 4 weeks and, just plug him in and move on.
Yeah. And then last I have Chase Claypool. I don't know if he's I don't know. I don't think he can continue. He obviously can't continue what he did this last week, but it'll be interesting to see what his role is going out. He looks like a legit NFL player. So pound good at football. So we'll see where he goes. But I like what I saw.
Hard not to.
Yeah, those are
look like the thing on Claypool, and I watch a lot of college football, and I saw him at Notre Dame. I thought he was a little bit slower than he looked. Yeah. He looked like he was fast. Like he's outrunning guys. So
he ran a 4.38, and he's like 6'4", 238 or something like that.
You watch him at Notre Dame.
There was chatter.
Tight end almost.
Yeah. Well, there was chatter about him switching positions to tight end at the combine. I remember folks saying, with this very deep wide receiver class, they were saying, well, why doesn't he just switch to tight end? He can be a top tight end pick, but it looks like Pittsburgh and Claypool made the right choice here. So
definitely.
Yeah.
All right. So you've got a few other things, just kind of wrap up this, the pickup artist initial episode.
So this Dak injury, kind of got me thinking about this will have reverberations around the SKFL. So Musa is hurt the most, obviously, losing Dak, and then Amari gets a downgrade because of the quarterback. And then, AJ with CD Lamb, Casey with Michael Gallup, Randy with Dalton Schultz. He may be probably droppable at this point. Yusuf Easy probably gets a bump, but I'm not actually sure. That O-line isn't what it was 2 years ago. And, they're not built to just to pound the ball. So we'll see what this does to Easy. But it'll have reverberations, which reminds me of a trade that went down October 22nd, 2018. And how we bitch about every single trade in the SKFL. But this, I will use this podcast as a platform to say that was the most bullshit trade I've ever seen. It was Musa's Darius Geis for Yusuf's Dak. Wait, no, Yusuf got Dak. Sorry. So Musa gave up Dak, and Yusuf gave up Darius Geis, which was ridiculous at the time because Yusuf was down to Marcus Mariota and Trubisky. So just a note to SKFLers out there: when you're going to trade, if someone doesn't have a lot of quarterback, don't just hand them a quarterback, please. So yes, and this might end it. I bitch about this trade every time I get together with SKFL, so maybe I'll stop bitching about it now. And actually, I was looking at the pickups before that. The day before, Yusuf had wavered Amari Cooper, so. That 2 day stretch for Yusuf was amazing. Anyway, this Dak injury reminded me of that and the reverberations it'll have. A couple other notes, just because we're the pickup artists talking about the waiver wire. Los wavered Jared Stidham, which I was surprised about. I mean, what did you think about that, Rob? Was that?
You know, I, I don't like it just because I don't think he's startable. Even if you're down to one quarterback, I don't think you want to throw Stidham out there necessarily. So, I mean, from that point perspective, I don't love it. I don't know how long Cam's supposed to be out. I don't know, not much longer, I don't think. So
I think Cam is.
What's that?
I think Cam is back.
Yeah, and I didn't remember where Los was in the waiver wire. You know, kind of, was he at the top or at the bottom? If he's at the bottom, then why not? But no, I don't love it.
That could redeem it if he was at the bottom, and I didn't see where he started the waivers. But I mean, that prompted me to look at Los's quarterbacks. You know, he has Aaron Rodgers, who's balling out this year, great. But then Jimmy G and Phillip Rivers. You know, now I kind of understand why he's reaching there. So that's the last note that we have on waivers here. Los, good luck finding a quarterback. If you're going to trade Los to quarterback, please get something of value.
All right, so Ian, this was awesome. The pickup artist, I know my dogs are barking a little bit in the background, so my apologies. There's probably a mailman or something out there that's delivering our package or something. So
dog's gonna
awesome.
dog, man.
We'll look forward to it next week. All right, man?
Yeah, man. Looking forward to it.
All right, we'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.
All right, later.